Hi, this is Kelly from paperbeadrollers.com, and I am so excited about today's video. This is actually a new product in the shop at paperbeadrollers.com that is going to allow you to decorate your paper beads with just these beautiful, beautiful micro bead decorations. You can do so many things with this, and it just dresses them up and makes them so elegant. I just love it. So let's get started and I'll show you how to do it. For this project, you're going to need some E6000 glue or something similar. Usually a gel glue is going to work better for this. You'll also need something to put it on, hopefully something with this very small tip, like a precision tip. I just used these toothpicks and they worked okay. They weren't perfect, but they worked all right. You can do without this, but it's going to be much, much easier if you have a wax pen tool that you can use to pick up the small pieces of metal and place them. You can use your fingers, but it is much more frustrating and takes a little longer. So I highly recommend you pick up a set of those. I also used this tool. This is actually a quilling tool, or you can use a reamer. A bead reamer would also work well, just to help place the pieces exactly where you want them on the bead once they're there. And then the last thing is these pliers here for bending the jewelry wire. So in case you're wanting to take some of the thin pieces of wire and just slightly curve them or bend them around, you'll need something for that. You may want to have some tweezers as well. Occasionally that will help in terms of holding things in place, etc. You'll need some paper beads to work with. Now, I made these two types of beads mainly because I wanted something that was going to be easy for you to see. So I think the black and white provides really good contrast, but you can put these on any kind of paper beads, magazine beads, food beads, painted beads, whatever you want. Go ahead and make your beads and glaze them first. And if you need a tutorial on that, you can look in the description and look at my YouTube channel, and I have a ton of tutorials on how to make paper beads. Of course, one of the critical things you're going to need is a pot of these decorative micro beads. Now, I have 4 different styles in the shop at paperbeadrollers.com, and they come with different components. Now, these look a little bit like confetti sequin type things. They are not. These are actual metal pieces that are stamped out for you to put on your beads. So it's not sequin material or plastic. These are metal. I have 2 different sets that are gold and 2 different sets that are silver, and you can see those kind of close up what you get in each set. Let's talk about what is in each of the 4 sets that you can get, because they're all different. Now, I have made some sample beads, but my beads that I made here are not the only configuration you can do, but it just gives you an idea of what you can make. So I'm trying to think of names to differentiate these. It's actually kind of difficult, especially if I add more to the mix later. So we're just going to describe them by what's in them. So this is your gold flowers and leaves. And in here you have some mainly iridescent sparkles. There's a few dark sparkles as well. You have some larger round leaves. You have some smaller, thinner leaves. You have some vines that are smooth in there, and some different size of the rhinestones as well. So that is all in there. Now, I finished this one off with the gold disc that you can buy in the shop at paperbeadrollers.com. That is not included with the pot of micro beads. Okay, so that is the first set. Now, our other gold set does not have any leaves in it, so that's kind of how you can differentiate this. I'm calling this stars and bars, gold stars and bars. So it does have some little gold balls you can see right here. It has 2 different kinds of gold bars. It has this straight one that is around these micro gold balls, and then it has these bent ones that are around each of the little rhinestones. So those come like that. I did not have to bend them. They came bent like that. They also come with these little stars, and then you can put the rhinestones on top of the stars. So this is the gold stars and bars pot of micro beads. The next one we have is the silver flowers and leaves. And I only made one type of flower on this, but there's more that you can do. But it comes with the small rhinestones, the little kind of circle pieces right there, the small and large flowers, as well as these curved pieces. So I didn't curve these come curved just like that. It also comes with quite a few different rhinestones, some larger and smaller, in iridescent and kind of an orange, and some red in there that you can see on here. So there's several different types of rhinestones. It's just on this particular piece I just used the reds out of it. So that is your silver flowers and leaves collection. And then the fourth one is silver, and this is the stars and flowers. So silver stars and flowers. And this comes with three main colors of rhinestones. You've got that pretty blue, the orange, and the iridescent rhinestone in different sizes. There's a rhinestone on top of each of these little ones, and it comes with the little flower silver piece, which I put a rhinestone on top. It looks bad. So for example, if you see this bead right here, you can't really see the glue. There's a couple spots where some glue got a little visible, and I'm gonna take care of that. You can sand it down and cover it back over with some diamond glaze. But for the most part, you can't see the glue. When I'm working with the microscope camera, you're gonna have such a magnified view that you're gonna see the globs of glue as I put the pieces on, but you won't see that once everything is done and dried. So just be aware of that. Okay, let's get started with the close-up. Little things out. So literally I was just able to take my pliers and grab this, and you could use tweezers on it if you wanted, might be a little easier, and you can just very easily bend these back. So I don't know how well you can see this. There we go on the camera. I should probably show that on the micro camera, but these are very easy to bend and put in any kind of shapes that you would like to get whatever design you want. And then I capped this one off with the square bead cap. So if you've been looking for a way to use the square bead caps that are in the shop at paperbeadrollers.com, you don't have to have a square bead to put them on. This makes like a lovely little end cap, pointed end cap for these. And it's a round bead, but the bead cap is square. So I kind of like it, gives it a little bit of an elegant touch. Okay. So again, that is the flowers and stars pot of microbeads. And these come with, if you want to see actually, now I've already used a bunch out of this, so this isn't even all of it, but it comes with quite a bit. This is after I've made 2 different beads with this. Now they are very, very tiny. So as I demonstrate how to put these on the bead, I am going to use my micro camera. So what I'm doing is picking up this rhinestone with my wax pen, putting a little bit of the E6000 glue on the back, and then pressing it down into my bead. I'm using that combination coiling tool, putting the glue on with the pointy end and using the thicker end to position my things on the bead. Now you'll see me skip forward a little bit. This is a painstaking, slow process, takes a little patience, and so I know you're not going to want to see the whole thing. You'll see me put quite a few of these on. And again, it's just the same thing, picking it up on the wax pen, putting some glue on the back, and putting it down. Now I've tried a couple techniques with this. I tried using a toothpick and putting the glue straight on the bead and then putting the pieces on the glue. It worked, but it was definitely messier. It was getting glue all over the place. So this method right here is much better. Now you can buy precision tips for your tube of E6000. I ordered some online, and when they came, they didn't fit the tube I had. Rather than put off this video any longer, I decided to just go ahead and film with what I had. I will be buying a pack of the E6000 with the precision tips that come with the tube. I think that would make things a lot easier. Now you will see the glue a little bit more on this microscopic camera. Obviously, we're real close up. It's not as messy to the naked eye as what you're seeing here on the film, but you do want to be careful because you can see it if you look close and you want your work to, to look a little polished. So that wax tool, that is something that you probably want to have in your arsenal if you're going to be doing this. Sorry I went a little bit off camera there, that it's really hard to stay on camera with this microscope. Well, watch as I put a few in place. You can see where the piece stuck to the glue a little bit. So it's a little frustrating at times. You have to really want your end result. But I really enjoy it. I have a lot of fun, and I feel like that the end result that you get with these microbeads is just so beautiful. Like, I really did not think that I could make something this beautiful and elegant. I'm going to fast forward this process until we get to where all of the petals are in place. Okay, now all the petals are in place, and I can see that I did get this slightly off center on the bead, but that's okay because I'm going to add some leaves, which is going to balance things out. So I chose the smaller leaves that are in this mix. We're using the Stars and Flowers mix. And I'm going to place this leaf right there in one of my petals where there's a decent gap. And it's the same process. Put a little glue on the back, press it into place. You do have just a couple of minutes to move things around with the E6000 before it solidifies enough that you can't move them anymore. Now this leaf I'm going to turn over and put it in the opposite direction. And it's going to give a slightly different look than I got on the other side. And it's going to balance this out quite a bit. And there we go. I like the way it looks. It ended up looking pretty balanced once I got the leaves in the right place there. Let's do one more, show you a couple of other techniques. Now here we're going to use the Silver Stars and Flowers mix. You have to use quite a bit of glue on these stars because they are concave. And so you need to fill that up with glue to make sure that you have good connection with your surface of the bead, not just the edges, but there's a nice bit of glue holding this on so it doesn't fall off. Just press that down. And again, you can take that tip of that bead reamer and just get rid of some of that excess glue once you push it down. Now we're going to put a little bit of glue right there on the top. There may be some coming out from inside, and that's okay. But we're going to add a little extra on the top so that we can put our rhinestone in place, and it will hold it in nice and secure. Make sure you press it down, center it just right. And if you get a little extra glue coming out of the edge of your star, you can always use your bead reamer tip to go in there and pull some of that out because, like I said, it won't show as much as you're seeing on this microscopic camera, but there's a little bit much in some of those areas that I think is going to be too obvious to the naked eye. So we're going to take that out. There we go. Looks much better. Now we have another shape that is like the stars, but it is a little bit of a flower shape. It's a little smaller than the stars. But you treat it the same way. Put some glue on the inside, making sure you get plenty in there. Mine kind of stuck to my bead reamer while I was putting the glue on, but that's okay. Stick it down in place. Dip just a little extra glue on the top to make sure your rhinestone has enough. And for this one, I use the teeny tiny littlest rhinestones that come in the package so that you can see some of the silver around it. If you use any of the larger than the tiniest, it really covers almost the whole silver piece. Let's look at one more technique. We're going to connect the star and the flower with one of the curved metal pieces. So let me show you how I put that on. Now remember, when you're dealing with the long metal pieces, they are flat. You're going to want to curve them a little bit so that they lay flat on the bead, because the bead is curved. So it's just going to depend, I guess, how you're using them and all that. I just hold them with my pliers and just bend them around my curved pliers just a little bit. These are metal, but they bend really easy. They're so tiny. They don't have a lot of resistance to that. I'm just going to hold it with my tweezers. Make sure I have it shaped just right to hit both of my star and my flower. Looks good, looks good. Curve looks about right. Now I'm just going to pretty much do what I've been doing with the rest of these. I'm going to hold this with my tweezer. Pick up some of the E6000 on my point tool, and I'm just going to scrape it off onto one side of the metal wire. Try to get that whole thing covered. Again, sorry about that camera view. Okay, then I'm going to put that side of it down onto the bead. And honestly, sometimes this is just easier to do with your fingers. Make sure you push that down into the bead. Make sure you're getting really good contact with the glue and the wire, and then let it dry. Again, I'm going to take off that little bit of excess right there. All right, there you go. Now let me show you what these two beads look like not microscopic. So you can't even really see the glue marks. And they just look amazing. It's hard to go wrong with these caviar beads. They're so beautiful, and they're going to look good in just about any formation you put them in, to be perfectly honest. This really can make you look like a pro even the first time you do it. I have had a ton of fun with these caviar beads, and I know that you will too. You can order them at paperbeadrollers.com. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel so you don't miss any paper beading tutorials, and I will see you next time. Happy rolling!